and welcome back to my channel. My name is Valentine and here I am. If you're new to my channel, I do a bunch of things. Actually, I know y'all are probably new to my channel. Let me just get that out of the way real quick. Oh my gosh, there is like a huge influx of you guys. I think as of last night, I'm almost at 400 subscribers, which blows my mind. I went from like 24 subscribers to like 400 in 5 days, which is absolutely insane. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, thank you so much to my fellow YouTube creators, Miss Midge Munster and Rachel Mortician. Both of you guys have really, I don't know, I just can't thank you enough. Y'all threw my name out there into the wilderness and people decided to check me out, which I'll just forever be thankful for. And then on top of that, I'm getting comments that people are randomly finding me, which is also really cool. Starting anything like this is really scary, and I can't stress how nervous I was and still am. I don't know, it's something I've always wanted to do, and like I've kind of mentioned, I have an undiagnosed chronic illness. Every time I go to the doctor, they always say that all of my test results are totally fine. They think that I have like some issues, but technically the things they think I have can't really be diagnosed. I'm actually able to make a video and finish it throughout my pain. With my daily pain, I find it incredibly hard for me to start a task and finish it. And with this channel, every time I make a video, it's like a small accomplishment. Oh God, I'm gonna get emotional. Whew. Okay. But it's like a small accomplishment for me, and it means a lot that I can do stuff like this, or not even that I can do stuff like this, but that you guys enjoy me. And I'm loving the people that are taking screenshots of my face while I'm talking, because I look like I'm having the time of my life, which is great. I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am, and seeing me being like, I'm so happy. Hopefully that makes you guys also happy and it translates. But anyways, so since I'm almost at 400 subscribers, I was thinking I could do a giveaway at 500 subscribers. Let me know if you guys are down with that, if I did a giveaway, and maybe like what you guys would be wanting. I'm thinking I've got a bunch of spooky mugs that I was thinking I could do a giveaway for, because spooky mug life, that's where it's at. So since a lot of you guys are new to my channel, I've posted some videos before my Halloween hauls. My channel's not just going to be about Halloween. I understand if you guys want to go somewhere else where it's Halloween all the time. I totally get that. No hard feelings. But for me, my main reason for starting this channel was to try to bring magic back into my own life. And what I mean by magic, I don't mean like magician. I don't mean like doves flying out of my shirt or something. I don't know, with my stuff, my body stuff, and with everything that everyone on the planet goes through all the time, we kind of get wrapped up in our day-to-day and we don't really take the time to feel the magic in our lives and see the magic all around us, or all of the weird happenings. And I've been very fortunate to live an incredibly enchanted life. I was actually talking to one of you guys on Instagram, and her and I have had a very similar kind of lifestyle, and she said the word charmed, like she had a charmed life. And I've used that to describe myself as well. Basically, what I mean by that is unexplainable things have happened in my lifetime, along with this person that I was talking to. Same thing for her. And I love meeting people who've also had really strange experiences, but I've found that more often than not, people don't have those experiences, and they really enjoy listening to my weird tales. And I thought that by talking about it, I've noticed the more I talk about the weird things that happen in my life, the more likely they are to happen around me, the more open you are and more receptive you are to the strange things going on. And by bringing magic in my life, I also want to do things in celebration of the Sabbats. I want to make sure that I'm actively bringing in something different than just my day-to-day. So like, I want to go hard for Halloween. I want to go hard for Samhain. I want to go hard for Yule. I want to go hard for Christmas. Like, I want to jazz up my day-to-day as much as I possibly can. And though you might not have the same beliefs as me, that's totally fine. Everybody do their own thing, and you know, I'm here for that. But even though you might not have the same beliefs as me, there's still things that we can do to try to shake up our day-to-day. And so with my channel, that is basically my mission. If you look at my channel backlog, it's kind of weird because I do the Valentine's Day Rites was my first video. And then I think Beltane was my second video. And then I started my Supernatural Slumber Party series, which is where I'm going to tell you guys personal stories about my life and my childhood and how it's been a little bit charmed. And I hope it's entertaining. I get told it's entertaining in real life, but I don't know. Let's begin. So I am going to jumpstart my Supernatural Slumber Party extravaganzas. If you haven't checked out my Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, that was the first one in this series that I'm bless you. I don't know if you guys heard that. My cat just sneezed. So let's go ahead and jumpstart into the spooky stories. So as you can see, I want you to feel like you are at a friend's house doing a slumber party. I talked about that in the Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board series, that like that's what we did as children. Like that's what we did. We would spend the night at each other's houses and summon freaking demons at night and play really weird, creepy things. Some people probably ventured into the Ouija board experience. I don't touch those things. I'm one of those. I'm like, no, thank you. But yes, so I've got my spooky ambiance. I've got my foxblood robe, if you guys are interested in. And I've got my favorite candle that's going to be restocked on the 28th in a couple of days. It's a Yankee candle. It's called Jack-o'-lantern. Oh my god, it smells so good. It smells like a pumpkin in a fire pit and like maybe marshmallows or like graham crackers, but it's very smoky. It's very, very smoky. So I'm going to light this bad boy up and get into the mood. If you want to do the same thing, get nice and cozy. So grab yourself something yummy to drink or maybe a nice little treat. Get comfy and cozy because tonight we're going to talk about the Whistling Man. So something you need to know about me is I have been a practicing witch since I was about 11 years old. My mom has also been a practicing witch since she was 13, so well before I was ever born. I think that has encouraged the strange things to happen to me more often. Weird things have happened to her. A lot of weird things have happened to that bloodline. All the women on that side of the family have kind of had some sort of strange experience, or like clairvoyance or clairaudience in some sense. I've had clairaudience multiple times in my life. At one point, I swear to God, I think it saved my life. I can talk about that later too. I ended up moving back in with my mom, and she lived in this house that was built in 1910. We lived in the historic district, and it was this old kind of like adobe-ish home. And I don't know if the adobe was like a newer addition because parts of the house were just wood, whereas like the front part was adobe. So it would make sense if it was added on later on. This house had a basement, which is really weird. I'm from Texas, if y'all didn't know. And in Texas, we don't have basements. That's not a thing here. In this house, it has like really old wooden floors. It has really old antique fixtures. The ceilings are extremely high. All the bedrooms are extremely large. This house was built in 1910, so it's not like a cookie cutter kind of house. Like it's just an old home. And all the homes around this home are very old and very Victorian looking. I was always really bummed as a kid that my mom bought the adobe looking house and not the beautiful Victorian, like the gorgeous Victorian home across the street or next door. Like ours looked so strange, which is why I think that it's had some sort of work done. In this house, it had that creepy ass basement that, oh God, I would like hold my breath Did you ever do that as like a kid or even as an adult? But if something scary was happening, you would hold your breath and think like, if I hold my breath until I get out of the kitchen, everything's gonna be okay. Like I always gave myself some weird like good luck superstitions on my own that have nothing to do with real life or any superstitions out there. I would just implement them on myself. In the living room, like, so here's the living room and there's a wall right here, and right next to the wall is a desk. And then right here, there's like a little doorway where you can see into the hall. And on each end of the hall, there was a bedroom. So right here, I'm sitting at my desk. So I was 15 and my mom sold sex toys at biker rallies. So she would go out of town for about like a week at a time. Like every couple of weeks, she would leave for about a week and she would go to these biker rally things. And she had a booth with her really good friend and they would sell sex toys. If I was 15, my brother was 22. And so he just got back from like a college thing and had moved in with us really quick. And so my mom was out of town and it was just my brother and I. And my brother is not really, he's seen some weird things in his life, that's for sure. But he doesn't linger on it. I am someone who's like, what was that? What happened? I never forget any detail. Whereas my brother kind of like moves forward with life. He rationalizes it and just like moves on. I'm sitting at the desk. I was on AIM. I think I'm aging myself. So I was on AIM. Like that was something that you did back then, back in the day when I was a wee child. Remember, I'm an elder goth, guys. Elder goth. I was on AIM and I was talking to my then boyfriend. I was typing away to my little boyfriend. I'm sitting at the desk and I'm facing this way. I think it was about probably like midnight or like 12:30, something like that. It was late. But not too late. It was late. And my brother, his bedroom was in the basement because we had no room for him. So let me give you a quick layout. So this is the living room. I'm at the desk typing. There's the doorway that I mentioned and then the hall. So this room over here closer to you guys, that was our TV room. So I was in the living room, but my mom was very adamant that in the living room, it was reserved for talking as a family and that the TV room was something separate. That was the one closest to you guys. And the one closest to me was my old bedroom. Her bedroom was over here. And then back here was the kitchen and down the stairs. And the kitchen over here is the basement where my brother is. So my brother's down there doing his own thing, whatever, I don't know, whatever he was up to. In the TV room, we had like a vintage giant ottoman that was on little rolly wheels. And remember, we had wood floors. And then there was like this antique sofa and the TV. And then back here is my room. And it's like 12:30 at night. I don't even remember what we were talking about. Probably something silly, like a movie that we had seen. I don't know. Young Love. No, not Young Love. Not a good dude. And while I'm texting, I start to hear someone whistling. And so I hear this whistle. And I'm kind of like just not really thinking about it. You know what I mean? When like things are so mundane that you just don't pay any mind to it. And then later you're like, that was weird. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, wait a minute, that was a little off. That's basically what was happening as I was texting, not realizing that it's like, bless you. I'm texting, not realizing that it's 12:30 in the morning. And I'm hearing a man whistling, like clear as day, whistling. And not quiet. It doesn't sound like it's far away. It sounds like it's in the house. So I'm just like, blah, 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 talking to my guy, when suddenly it registers. Where is that whistling coming from? And so I call out to my brother and I'm like, brother, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but I'm like, brother. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I hear him coming from behind me where the kitchen's at in the basement. And so I'm like, oh shit, like that's not brother. What is that? That's coming from over here, like the TV room. So I'm like, okay. And it had stopped at this point. So I'm like, okay, that was weird. Like maybe someone was walking past outside or I don't know. I just brush it off. It's only 12:30 in the morning and some man is whistling really loudly outside my window. Like it's no big deal. Totally normal. So I continue doing my thing. Maybe like 20 minutes pass, the whistling starts up. But this time I'm like, it's back. Like I'm paying attention to it instead of trying to rationalize it. I hear the whistling and I say, David, and the whistling stops. And I hear my brother say, yeah. So I'm like, oh, maybe it is him whistling, and it just like, I don't know, it just sounds weird. So then I say like, is that you? And he's like, is what me? And I'm like, is that you? And then suddenly the whistling starts again. So I'm like frozen. I've got chills. Hard to explain, but the whistling sounded like a man. I know that seems weird, but it's like I got this impression, I guess, of a man. And it was like I knew it was a man. Like I knew it wasn't a woman. I knew it was like a masculine kind of energy. I got a weird vibe. And of all of my paranormal experiences that I've had, this is the main one where I felt like kind of like a malice, if that makes sense. So I'm hearing this whistling and I'm like, man, that's coming from the room, or like there's someone standing next to the window whistling. Something that really creeps me out is I've had this phobia ever since I was a little girl, because the house that I grew up in, we lived in the woods. And so we didn't have curtains or blinds on any of our windows, and we had a lot of windows. And it always freaked me out at night because we lived in the country, so there was no lights outside, there was no light pollution. So if we had the lights on the inside, if you looked out the window, it was just black. And it always made me think like they can see me. Like I can't see them, but they can see me. And it just really freaked me out. And so I'm thinking like, man, like if there's someone like if we got the lights on and I go check, like what if there's someone in the window, like face up against the window, and I can't even see them, you know, because I've got the lights on. So I'm starting to get a little bit nervous. I type to my guy and I'm like, hey, give me a second. Like I feel like there's someone in the house or near the house, like whistling. It's so loud. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, don't check it out. And I'm like, I'm gonna check it out. Like, that's what I do. So I told him, be right back. I get up and I go to the hallway, and I kind of stop right before I enter the hallway, and the whistling gets louder. A lot louder. And I'm like, this is for sure inside of the house. Like, this is not someone outside. Like, there's someone inside. So my heart starts pounding. I go to like look kind of down the hall, and the hallway is black. I don't mean like there's no lights on, so the hallway's really dark. I mean, it looks like there's a black freaking wall, like just shrouding the entrance to the TV room. I'm like staring at it, and like, you know, like when you stare at something like dark, and like the dark, it's like if you open your eyes wider, you might be able to make out a shape or something. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to be like, what is, like, what's in there? And like my eyes are all bugging. And so I go to take a step forward, and I hear him, like, he like snorts. He stopped whistling and he like snorts. And I mean, I'm like, oh my God, there's a man. There's a man in the house. There's a man in the house. So I back up, and I'm like, I'm keeping my eyes on the hallway, and I'm like, David, like calling out for my brother, because this in the house has heard me talking to my brother multiple times. He knows I'm in here. So now I don't care. I'm like, David. I just said my brother's name. Whatever. I'm like, I'm not going to use his name. And now I'm all, David. Okay, so I'll ask his permission and see if he's chill with that. If not, I'll try to like bleep out his name I've said 20 times. Anyways, so it'll be 20 bleeps. Just beep, beep. So I'm like, David. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And my brother, bless his soul, he's never really, like, he loves me, but he's never really, like, Mr. Protective over me or anything like that. So there must have been something in my voice, because his ass was up the stairs in seconds. I mean, seconds. And he was like, got his deep voice on, and he was like, what's up? What's going on? Like, he was like ready to take on some shit. And I'm like, near the kitchen, like near the dining room now, like staring at the hallway, and I'm like, there's a man in the house. And he's like, what? And I'm like, there's a man in the house. I've been hearing whistling all night long, on and off. I didn't think anything of it. I thought maybe like it was outside the window, but I think there's someone in the house. Like, I went to go check, and I can't see, but I can hear him, and I heard him like sniff. My brother's like, what? Like, what the fuck? I'm like, you crazy kid. And my brother's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, David, no, I'm serious. I think he could sense that I was serious. I think he just decided to humor me. he decided to humor me. He obviously didn't think anything was in the house. Mom had a set of antique golf clubs, and she would keep them in like a big vase by the front door. I don't know why. It's not like we were gonna be like, okay, Mom, I'm going out. Take my antique golf club with me. It was very strange. It was next to the umbrellas. I don't know. So anyways, my brother grabs an antique golf club and he's like holding it and he's like, I'll check it out. It's fine. Calm down. And I'm like, David, be careful. It's a man. There's a man in the house. Like, I'm bugging. I'm losing it. So my brother goes to the hall and he's like, man, I can't see anything. And I'm like, I know. I know. It's fucking dark. So he goes to switch on the light and it won't turn on. Light won't turn on. He's standing there and he's like, I can't see anything. And he's like, what's with the fucking light? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm not worried about the light. Again, I'm not thinking paranormal. Nowhere in my mind was I like, oh, this is a paranormal experience. Like, this is a ghost man whistling in my house. Like, no, I was thinking real threat, you know? This guy is not whistling right now. Like, ever since I started calling out my brother, dude zipped up. So my brother's standing there like trying to switch on the light when bam, man starts whistling again. And my brother he clenches the thing and like takes a step back and he's like, what the and like the guy's whistling and my brother's like, hey bro. He's like, man, like, you know, being all macho, like macho dude. He's like, can I help you? Like, what's going on? I think in his mind, he was thinking like, we lived really close to downtown and there was a bunch of bars and a lot of people would get, you know, wasted and like walk around. I think in both of our minds, we were trying to rationalize it. Like, maybe we left a window open and someone came in. Maybe we left a window open and there's someone whistling like right outside the window. We weren't thinking anything supernatural. So my brother's like, man, he's like, can I help you? Like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm coming in there, bro. And he was like, I'm coming in. Like, he's trying to like talk this man down instead of being like, oh, fuck you, I'm gonna fucking... He's not trying to threaten a potentially extremely dangerous person inside the house who's just like sitting in our TV room whistling. So my brother then starts walking in the hallway and he's heading towards the darkness and he's like, buddy, and he's like, can you hear me? And the guy's like still whistling when suddenly my brother gets right up to the door and the guy lets out this, he stops whistling and he lets out this laugh. And I know that doesn't sound scary, but it felt menacing. It felt like he was laughing at us, like we were nothing, and this whole situation was just like amusing. I remember I was just standing there, frozen, chills. I never once thought call the police. My brother never once thought call the police. I don't know if it was like a flight or fight kind of thing, like fight or flight and freeze, and we froze. So my brother kind of relaxes because this guy starts laughing. And so my brother's thinking it's a person, you know, and my brother's a big dude. He wasn't scared, but he was still concerned. So he takes a step forward to go into the room and to like turn on the light when the ottoman, remember, the ottoman has wheels, rolls across the room and you can just hear this like it rolling across the floor and like hitting the wood, like hitting the wood as it rolls across. And my brother takes a step back because he doesn't realize it's the ottoman yet. It hits the door perfectly to where it slams the door shut in my brother's face. And I'm like, holy crap. My brother starts being like, blah, 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 like cussing like crazy. And he's like, what the F, man? And he like opens the door and he slams it open and he turns on the light and there's no one. Freaking no one. No, I have goosebumps, like you probably can't see that. I have goosebumps reliving this story. That dude was laughing at us, whistling. I feel like he was like taunting us that whole time. And I think he was toying with me being like up there by myself and scared. And then I think he enjoyed my brother putting on this like bravado kind of like, hey buddy, like I'm gonna mess you up. And my brother's like, what the F, what the F? And so he goes in there and he's tearing apart the room. He's looking behind the couches. He's looking behind the chair. He checks all the windows. All the windows are closed. All the windows are locked. the closets, everything. And he like looks at the ottoman. Everything's intact. There's nothing weird, nothing out of place. And there's no man. I don't know if I can convey and express how disturbing his laugh was. When he stopped whistling and laughed at my brother, it was literally like he was mocking us. What's even weirder is my brother has no memory of it ever happening. Nothing. And he was 22 when this happened. I must have been like 14 or 15. So he was either 21 or 22. And he does not have a single recollection of this night. It's not the only experience that I've shared with my brother that he does not remember at all, which is just really strange to me. And it's like, what if people are having these weird experiences and they just don't even remember them? My mom ended up coming home like the next day and I told her all about it. And she like saged the house. She was like, "Be gone, evil spirit." That was the tale of the whistling man. I feel like I'm so rambly and I just get so off topic. So please bear with me while I figure out how to explain my stories better, more cohesively. I think I need to write like bullet points of my stories to tell, because I'm like, so then this happened. Oh, let me tell you the layout. You guys are into like cryptid, paranormal, just spooky weird shit. Continue watching. Hope you guys give me some leniency until I figure out how to tell stories better. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night, and let me know. Is there anything weird that's happened in your neck of the woods? I would really like to know if you've heard of a whistling man before, like in some sort of legend or anything like that. Let me know also if a giveaway is something that you guys would want to see. Oh, please subscribe if you haven't. If you like this video, go ahead. If you disliked it, that's fine too. I understand. Follow me on Instagram. I'm a lot more active over there. And that's about it. Have a wonderful night. Bye.